Hello, and welcome to the Go There Do That podcast. My name is Ethan, and I'm here with the co-host of the podcast. I'm co-hosting with you as well. I'm not the host,
We're both co-hosts.
Both co-hosting this podcast, and it's called the Go There Do That podcast. And if it's your first time here, we're going to begin with a quote from Kurt Vonnegut, and it starts like this. Go into the arts. I'm not kidding. The arts are not a way to make a living. They are a very human way of making life more bearable. Practicing an art, no matter how well or how badly, is a way to make your soul grow. For heaven's sake, sing in the shower, dance in the radio, tell stories, write a poem to a friend, even if it's a lousy poem. Do it as well as you possibly can. You will get an enormous reward. You will have created something. So that's Kurt Vonnegut, and he knows writing.
You said dance on the radio.
Dance on the radio? Oh no, I meant dance to the radio.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you meant dance in the rain or yeah.
It's all open. That itself was art. It's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
I guess. So what do you think about that quote?
I think it's pretty powerful. It kind of opens it up too, because a lot of times, like when I think of like arts, I don't think of myself necessarily, because I am not really like an artist, like I can take photos, but I don't normally. That's just normally up to you. So you're like the artist of our duo, but it kind of opens it up to like art is important whether you are like a self-proclaimed artist or not, like singing in the shower, dancing to the radio, which are
or in the rain,
definitely
or on the radio.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, it's open to everyone.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Why? What do you think?
I mean, me personally, if I didn't like have art, I would like probably not be very like well. Those are normally the things that kind of, feed my soul, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the idea of, regular nutrition, like eating well. There's also mental nutrition.
Yeah.
So whatever you ingest, right?
Yeah.
You kind of are influenced by it somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on like day 1 of like a phone detox a little bit, and I already I feel good today.
Why?
Probably because I'm detoxing from my phone. But wow. I felt kind of like bordering unhinged maybe some days. Mean? Well, like
I didn't know.
I know that I'm like using my phone like not even consciously.
Oh.
At this point, like it's like reflective, and it's like out of anxiety, and like it's like not been good, and I know that I've been really like bad lately, and I've been not feeling really bad about it lately.
So bad you turned your screen time off? I'm just kidding.
Right, yeah, because I do have my screen time like set to like an hour each day, but I can just press 15 more minutes into infinity. So yeah, but today I was like, okay, I'm going to start by just like not checking my phone in the morning, because that kind of like sets me off usually into like a pattern. And so yeah, I didn't do that this morning and occupied my brain with like other things today so far, and I feel pretty good.
One day,
what? Literally today, yeah. Well, because I met up with my friend Dana for dinner the other day, and I already like knew that I probably like need to take a break, but it wasn't one of my official New Year's resolutions because I didn't make any, because if I start a New Year's resolution and then I'm not like doing it 110% by day 2, then I'll give up on it until like the next year. And so, hi Smoosh. But yeah, so I already knew that I was planning on doing it, but I hadn't like set a date, you know. But usually I like to start new things on Monday. And then I met up with Dana, and she was talking to me about how she like hasn't been, you know, on TikTok and social media and stuff lately. And she's like, I've actually been having my own thoughts. It's crazy.
Well,
So yeah,
that's what we all want.
yeah, it kind of helped push me to something I was already planning on doing. But
Good. It's good to do it with a friend.
yeah. Well, and I know you hadn't like called me out on it officially yet, but I could tell we were like getting close to the point where you were like, that's enough.
Well, you know, it's hard because I said today that you should start your New Year's resolution beginning of December because it takes 30 days to form a habit. And then the response was, well, what about, you know, you let loose in December.
Right. That's not normally a good time to start
like,
something.
If you can say no to all those temptations that you get in December, how much better would you feel starting the year off? That would be crazy though, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
And
I don't have the mental fortitude for that.
So
well, it's too late now anyways.
Well, what we normally have to do when we develop that couple weeks even of like, you know, you spend a lot of time doing a whole lot of nothing during the holidays.
Yes.
And so then, you know, of course, I'm going to go to my phone. Then I'm on my phone for 2 weeks straight. And then you go start off the year and you're like, oh, crap, I got used to this.
Right.
Yeah. And so.
Yeah, that's true. It definitely like escalated during the holiday time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can develop bad habits, though, during that month, too.
Right.
And that's what I was like. What if you did the opposite? And it's like, that's too hard. I'd rather dig a hole, work my way out of it than to, you know, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just an idea.
What about you? Do you have any like resolutions?
No.
Okay.
Nope. What is that movie? We rewatched that movie Parasite, and at one point he says, "Never make a plan, because if you never make a plan, then nothing can go wrong." That's true to an extent, but I think that's more. But I think it's more about like expectations than plans.
I don't do well if I like don't have a plan or like structure. Like
So a New Year's resolution might be structuring your year, you know, rather than, because there's the conversations that are had where it's like, well, are you starting a new diet? Are you on that certain kick for now?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I'm trying this.
Well, I did that too.
And there are certain things, something to be said about like there never being an ideal human diet, scientifically proven, like human diet, ideal for anybody. So everybody's different. So like, I think trying out different like diets is good. Because what did you just got us some greens.
Oh yeah. Well, I've done Weight Watchers like a couple of times. I did it like a long time ago, like 2017 into 2018.
May I pause for a second?
Yeah.
One may ask, what does this have to do with traveling? Do you know how much better it is to have healthy food in you as you're going up a mountain? This is just as important.
Yeah.
You know, this is part of the preparation. Because, side note, Weight Watchers, hold that thought. But
okay.
We might have already mentioned this, but we did stop drinking before we went to Big Bend. Like, not like we drank every day, but we just cut out, like...
We're just not drinking.
No more alcohol whatsoever. Yeah. And we tried that, and we went up Emery Peak in Big Bend National Park at the Chisos Mountains, the highest point in the Chisos.
But the only reason we were able to do that is because we had made that change. Because that was... We're not really, like, in shape right now. That's probably another resolution to be had this week. But, just making that one change, I'm pretty sure is the only reason we made it to the top. So
we're going to continue to explore that idea with what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, so I did Weight Watchers like 2017, 2018, and I lost like 40 pounds. And then I like kept it off and was like skinny for quite a while, and then 2020 happened, and then I like kind of stopped, and then I've been like on and off again ever since, kind of. Like I'll do it here and there and then get off the wagon or whatever. But I haven't been serious about it since. But also, I realized that I haven't really fluctuated much. Like it's been steady the past like 3 years, which is something to be said. But anyways, so I started that, and then I was watching this documentary because like I don't know a lot about nutrition and stuff. Like I know you're supposed to eat your fruits and veggies, but it's just like never been something that I like super dug into. And I also really struggle with like executive functioning issues. So like cooking, like making meals can be really tricky, especially at the end of the day when my battery is running low.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason Weight Watchers worked for me the first time is because I would meal prep everything. And then, yeah, so anyways, that's like a part of why I keep falling off and on is because it's just like I have to like keep up with things. And then, so I started watching this documentary about basically like a vegan diet. I'm not going vegan right now. That's like too much, but I am like kind of experimenting with some like plant-based, food items to try to kind of get more vegetables, but also eat more vegetables in general. But yeah, so.
And it wasn't like that much more expensive than
No.
normally get.
Right. Like our fridge is like stocked right now, like fruits, veggies, and then I got like, some protein chicken and like tofu. And I was expecting it to be more than like our normal grocery bill, but really it was about the same as like when I've been buying like convenience, like Meal Simple HEB meals or just like, Cheez-Its and like Pop-Tarts.
Oh, yeah, the good stuff.
Yeah, or like some frozen meals, but yeah, it was like the same price, and I was expecting it to be like harsh. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Nutrition, very important when you travel. You can do a lot more when your body is feeling better, but
well, that's what I mean, because when we started camping, I started to struggle with like the meal planning a little bit more because it was around that same time too, because it was like, well, we're camping, so it's like you are limited to like what you can prep and so it just I have to like take the time to hyper fixate and like really figure out a plan for things like that. And I know that sounds ridiculous in 3 years that I haven't like sat down and figured out how to do like healthy camping meals, but I haven't.
Well, everybody's trying to figure life out, so
Yeah.
Some are ahead, some are behind, different areas.
Yeah, but I feel like good and like confident that that's like something I'm interested in right now, so it's like easy enough to focus on. So, but yeah, that's like been a part of the struggle too, is like it's easier to just like make a hot dog when you're camping, or whatever, something more simple, eat snacks like that aren't necessarily that great for you, not a lot of fresh food. But now we have the van too, so like we have a fridge for, fresh food and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm excited to try out new stuff.
Yeah, that is fun. When earlier you said you were recapping your little bit of your weight loss journey, and you said I was skinny at one point. You said that. Is that someone else's idea of skinny that you're just like? What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have probably like a very healthy view, but on my what is and isn't skinny to me, but I will like weighed what I weighed in high school when I like thought I was fat when I lost the weight on Weight Watchers the first time. So to me, it was like skinny, but 16-year-old me, it wasn't skinny. But yeah, I'm not trying to get to that point now. It's really more just about me like feeling better about like physically feeling better. Yeah. But yeah, definitely have to be careful with my own like body image issues and stuff along the way, and not to get too focused on losing weight, because yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that becoming an issue.
We also want like a standard of what you want out of yourself too, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's not for anybody else. It's like,
Yeah.
this is what I want from me, and
Yep.
that's what I'm going to get. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody's like, well, why do you want that? Is it for somebody else? Like,
No, I'm my own worst critic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not based on what anybody else, other than like what's been ingrained in me socially for my whole life. But it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what about, okay, so I have this example of mental nutrition. This is in Zion National Park at the Emerald Pools. There was a person there, it was like a teenage girl that was not in a good mood, clearly. You could tell by her body language. She was sitting off to the side. It was a very beautiful place, and she was just on her phone, not paying attention. Her family kind of was like, hey, come over here. And she was like, I've already seen something like this. It goes back to her phone. And that was when I first had thought, oh, you can bring that attitude to
anywhere,
somewhere beautiful.
Yeah.
But what if you brought the attitude you get when you do actually
experience something
everybody
like that.
Can have a bad day. Maybe she stubbed her toe. That would have been terrible, right? But when you're at somewhere, I don't know, and we have different understandings of aesthetic value, like what is beautiful and what isn't. But most people would agree that is a place that you should probably enjoy. It just social consensus, right? Like if we had to vote, that's a place you should probably be like, this is neat.
Okay.
Mental nutrition. You can bring those good attitudes, though, say, if you did appreciate it, like most people would agree, back home. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah.
But how do you maintain that thought of, well, I've been somewhere, I've had a good time once, but by contrast, I may not be having that time now.
I mean, but you have good time moments sprinkled in every day.
You do.
Yeah.
So how do you find those? Is it like you happen upon them, or is it mostly like your attitude that you have?
It's like you have I think, you have to seek those moments out probably more than you do the bad moments. Yeah. Like the stuff that sucks is going to happen either way. But yeah, I find, and that's why I've been in a slump lately, but I've also not been looking for those moments or creating those moments for myself. Going outside and just enjoying some peace in the backyard and, reading. Yeah.
Reading's a big one.
I just basically have taken a break from things that I know were making me feel good and feel better and are better for me. 'Cause I was felt like I didn't have time for that. But then it's well, yeah, but now you're in a slump and you're going to have to dig yourself out. But you could have just been continuing to make those choices.
Oh, it's like that whole, the dig yourself a hole real quick. And you're like, why did I just do this?
Right.
I just lost progress or something.
Yeah.
But what prevents you from being consistent? I think.
I know. I've been trying to figure that out for years.
So there's well, I think we can be consistent to a point, and then we realize we're doing something that might be unsustainable. Like a certain
That's
diet.
That's true.
Or,
I do things 110% or nothing. Yeah.
Because there's a big difference between motivation and dedication, discipline.
Yeah.
It's you're motivated to do something. It's oh, I'm motivated. I can do it right now.
Right.
And then you go and do it. And that would be wonderful if we could just act on the thing that we want to do. It's oh, I can't meal prep right now because I have to finish this whatever. And
whatever's standing in your way.
And then you get home and you're oh, crap. I didn't plan on being this tired.
Right.
So what causes you to kind of push through that to have the benefit of the meals of tomorrow, the planning, even just getting up and planning a trip.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of effort.
It does.
And like there was like that point when you were teaching at the same time as like going on these trips, and like you dug in deep somewhere, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then we just throw everything.
Yeah, a part of that though, and I was talking about this with Dana too, because it's like odd, because I'm like, I was like better, like more consistent at like working out and meal prepping and stuff like while I was teaching, even though really I had less time and I was, way more stressed out mentally. But I think a part of it is because it was like those things were like urgent, because like I needed to do those things or I would have like spiraled into oblivion. Like I needed to be working out. I needed to be planning trips and like really engulfed and like go there, do that stuff, because that was like keeping me afloat and, yeah. Or else I was totally have lost myself to teaching. Yeah.
Now you're not teaching anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like.
But I'm finding now, like, I can totally lose myself in any job.
You can?
Yeah, because I've been, doing that even now still. So it's something I have to like work through.
Well, you gotta get used to no summer break.
Right. Yeah, that's like I'm used to having a finish line. And so it's like whatever, like you can give all you have because you will have this built-in break that you have to take, and then it kind of starts over, and I don't have that anymore, and that's been hard for me to just like learn when to slow down and like be a little easier on yourself, and when to really double down, because I've mostly been doubling down.
Because teaching in the same hours, like say teaching was all year, they would have like the way it is now is totally unsustainable, which is why they would give you like a break.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's all sorts of reasons why, but like mentally,
Well, yeah. I mean, a part of it is because like the kids need a break, teachers need a break. Like, there's only so much you can give before. Yeah. Yeah.
You have a break so that you don't break.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been an adjustment, into the normal world where you have to take vacation and ask for vacation.
Normal world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if this is the normal world compared to teaching, then the teaching world is wackadoo. Yeah. But so that was kind of the consistency, making sure you're not doing anything unsustainable. Teaching technically was sustainable since you did it for 7 years, but
I knew that there was I knew there was a limit, and that's why I looked for something else. Yeah.
Because like it's good to know, like.
I knew I couldn't keep it up.
Yeah, it's good to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
It's
unless if I can manage to restructure my brain and how it works, then maybe one day. But
if you can just completely change who you are.
Yeah.
Oh, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But that's like just in the same vein or category, mental nutrition. Like just how do you keep something up for a long time? How did we do that up for 3 years?
I think it's like the same thing, like consistency, but also knowing when to like slow it down and not burn out on it. Yeah.
Because if you guys haven't caught it already, but there's a Big Bend Part 1 video that I would recommend watching on our YouTube channel, and that takes 2 trips from Big Bend National Park. One we took last November, and the other one was December of 2020.
Yeah.
And that first trip there was interesting because we didn't get to do everything because it was 2020. And then this next trip we did kind of the rest of everything.
Like what we didn't get to do.
Yeah, and it was, now that it's complete, it's really cool to see how it kind of came together, because I was afraid that it wouldn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
Mixing the two.
Yeah.
But you have to be in the right, I think, state of mind. You know, it's, you got to pay attention, I guess. Because if you're like, oh, I missed that date or I missed that whatever, then you might be off a little bit, you know. But I guess if you watch it, pay attention. What I'd recommend.
Yeah.
If you do give it your attention, I would recommend, you know,
Yeah.
your full attention.
But it's also very interesting to see like because it's us 3 years ago when we first started to go there do that, and then us like now. So like the way we camp and explore and
Oh yeah.
you know, do trips is different than it was 3 years ago. Also, like we're a bit different. So it is interesting to see that like kind of side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still like sunsets and
Yep.
sunrises.
Some things never change. Yep.
But I remember before go there do that, I used to drive home and be like, that's free. That's free to see.
Yeah.
Like sunsets and
Yeah,
stuff.
you'd like pull over and
Yeah.
like record a sunset
Yeah, it's just like,
on
what
your
is
way
that?
home.
What is that? And then I kind of just transitioned that into go there do that. But the sunsets at Big Bend National Park are insane. Like crazy cool. It's worth
West Texas sunsets are beautiful.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, we grew up in West Texas,
That's the thing.
not Big Bend, but not that far west, but technically
Yeah.
West Texas.
Yeah.
And they do have beautiful sunsets.
All that dust that gets kicked up and reflects the sun.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. Yeah, so this episode's titled New Year. So
Do you have anything else to say about like the art side of it, like the quote that you said at the beginning?
oh, good grief. Yeah, we started with that. That's, was just kind of do something that works for you, because within every challenge lies a seed of growth that is awaiting to be nurtured by your own hands. But you have to, it's hidden, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be immediate. Like, how is this good for me, this challenge that I'm in? Because sometimes there are challenges that's like, oh, this is not good at all.
Right.
Right? But if the phrase is true, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, then I think, you know, there could be something that happens to you that causes you bodily harm. But I think if you're able to still be you consistently through that, that's a form of like mental fortitude that that's really good to have. But yeah. I don't know. I was thinking about what the purpose of like fear is as a motivator, because you had said like you needed in teaching, you like needed that escape or whatever, because like when the world is just like, guys, we're all just kind of not okay right now, and yeah, you're looking around, you take a peek into the news and it's just like, this is crazy. And then you are reminded that like, oh well, this is really all it's about, is just sitting here watching a sunset,
Right.
you know. But I thought of something, and I don't know how exactly to phrase it yet, but fear chases and beauty follows. So if like you think of the purpose of fear is like, get me away from this thing, and then you get away from that thing, obviously it's going to be better. I think a lot of the time we don't know can't identify exactly where the fear's originating from, because things are so obscure now. We don't have like a saber-toothed tiger in front of us. You know, it's like, what is this thing that makes me feel not at ease?
Yeah. Like
And-
anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's really difficult. Well, they say anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. So like freedom to choose any direction now.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Is like, oh no.
Yeah.
And so that kind of causes like a fight or flight, because your life is kind of depending on this choice or whatever. Like you can feel that way. Then Mark Twain said, there's a great many things in life that I've suffered from, but very few of them actually happen. You know?
Yeah.
So you can like feel bad about something coming up, but then you get to it and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
So far, I've made it through everything.
So far, right? That's what's weird about like trying something new. Because there's so many
Or
things.
trying something you've done before and
man.
didn't go well.
Consistently, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I wanted to, yeah.
Like
yeah.
you know, you avoid things that didn't go well because you're like, oh, I have to like rethink how I'm gonna do that, or yeah.
It's like last week I tried working out the first time again after the bad habits of December set in, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I am so out of shape. This is not good. But this week I feel so much better.
And that's the thing. That's like what's annoying is I always know that like you'll feel better if you do this, but it's just like getting started with it.
But I don't want to.
What is that? Yeah. Like, I don't know.
It's because you don't have to. Like,
I guess.
It's literally.
But then I'm like, I've been trying to like, you know, bargain with myself. I'm like, you really do have to. Like, you're like not, you know, 20 years old anymore.
Yeah.
You know, this can catch up to you, and it'd be better to take care of it before it does. But, you know, that's easier said than done sometimes. Yeah.
Always. I think everything's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Quite literally. It's easier to do a podcast than it is to travel all the time. But
right.
Okay. So we have just to kind of recap what's coming up this year. We actually have 2 art shows.
Yeah.
One of them starts tomorrow, actually, and then there's another one in April. So at one point, mid-April and May, we're going to have 2
art
shows running at the same time.
That's crazy.
And I don't know what I'm going to do with all of that excitement, but I'm going to have to figure something out.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll talk about it on the podcast.
Probably a few hundred times.
That is why this exists.
Yeah.
So we're very excited for this new year, though. And we're going to try to keep up mental nutrition. And this podcast may serve as a sort of accountability for ourselves.
Right.
Because if we watch this back later and feel bad for how much hope we had in the past, and then we rewatch it, we're like, man, we were so hopeful for this year. We had to keep this up.
Yeah, that would be really
we had to keep
sad.
This up. No, we're documenting our conversations so that we can.
I don't want to let my now self, my future past self down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the spirit to go there and do that. See, I went back and forth all the time. When I didn't do a video about Big Ben in 2020, I was like, I'm actually going to revisit. That's my plan this whole time. I'm going to revisit.
No,
that's
it
why.
was.
Yeah, well,
we did say we were going to go back.
That's what I just kept telling myself. We have a footage of in Santa Elena Canyon. The first time I say we'll be back with our own.
And
boats.
out of most of the places we've been to, it's not a difficult place for us to go back to. You know,
Big Ben is difficult to get to.
Like going back to Switzerland. It will be
difficult.
more of a challenge, you know, but Big Bend is in our home state.
Yeah. It's just a long
Still
drive.
7 hours away, but, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, that's all I had to say about this year, I guess.
Okay.
What about you?
This new year. Yeah, I think so. I feel, like, hopeful about this year, even more than normal. Like we've talked about this, how it actually feels like this New Year is our first New Year's in a couple of years to have like a chill New Year's. Like last year, 2022 going into 2023, we were in freaking Paris for New Year's.
We don't have jet lag starting out the year.
Yeah, and then we were driving home from our like national parks tour where we visited like 8 national parks, and then so it's just been, it was kind of nice to have a very like quiet New Year's, because it's like, I don't know, there's just something about, I still think that from here like we'll probably travel around Christmas, New Year's time, because you do get so many like vacation days, and I'm about tired of like not traveling, but there was something about like the relief of, because it's kind of like depressing a little bit to like have a New Year's in Paris, and then you're like on this like high on life, whatever, and then you come back, and then that's your New Year's, Happy New Year's, and then you're like, you know, thrown back into reality. So it was kind of nice to like already be in reality, and then it's just like a slow little shift. It was like less daunting this year. So I feel, I don't know, more like balanced, centered going into this year.
It's good to be normal sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, and not exhaust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But like we said, it's unsustainable to travel all the time and like live a life, I think.
For us, at least.
For us.
Yeah.
Because we like
know.
a place to chill out and
Mm-hmm.
be at home. But
we're not as crazy as we look. We like to just like chill sometimes too.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah, like before we recorded this podcast, you were like, do you want to do the podcast or do you want to just play zombies?
Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
And we're still going to play zombies.
Right now, that's what we're going to do because that is the end of this episode.
We can do it all.
Yep.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. See you around. Remember to always try to create something for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Art is art. Whatever you make of it.
Art is art is art. All right. Have a good day. So long.
Bye.
Bye.